Hello, everyone. It's Tour Tuesday. It's good to see you all. Lots of familiar faces and some new faces, and we're hopefully inside where it's cool, as outside it is super hot. Today, we're here to talk about our Solo Travelers program and our Girlfriends Getaway Tour. We're thrilled to have you joining us. My name is Sandy Borowski. I am Vice President of Star Tours, in charge of our tour division, and I have lots of esteemed guests today joining us. So let's see, we'll start out with our travel advisor, Deb Ayers, who's here with us. So wave to Deb, wave Deb, there we go. And we're waving back at you.
Hello, hello.
So it's good to see Deb. We have lots of tour directors with us. I think I saw Betty Barr and Jean Gray and Christine Durling and Penny Rudolph. Who am I forgetting? Jane Estes. Did I get everybody?
Sandy, Ann Anderson, but I can't. I got a new phone. I can't get the camera on, but I'm listening.
No problem. All right, welcome, Anne. So wow, we've got about a half a dozen tour directors, which is great. And then we have some special guests who I'll introduce to you soon. Special guests from Delaware and Virginia. So you can sort of spy them, and they're waving to you, but I'll introduce them soon. Guess what? Polls are back. So I've got a poll for you today, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So hopefully you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see the poll.
I can see it.
Excellent. All right. So answer this for me. I have traveled solo on any trip, not just Star, in the past. So who has traveled by themselves in the past? I'd like to see that. And then question number 2 is, I have traveled solo on a Star trip before. 3 choices. Yes, and I loved it. Yes, but I think I'll bring a friend next time, and I can't wait to travel solo with Star. So those are your 2 questions, and we'll take a minute to get those answered. You know, it's fun to start with a poll, get you all woken up, and, you know, get ready to talk about this fun stuff. So we've got, wow, we're doing well here. 58 people. I've got my checklist going on, and I can do this without a co-pilot for sure. All right, last 10 seconds to vote, to place your vote in our latest poll, and then I'll share the results with you. These are interesting. This is great. All right, let's end this poll, and I'll share the results with you. Hopefully you can see them. About 2/3 of you have traveled by yourselves on any trip. So that's great. That's a lot of people. Two out of every 3 people on this call have tried solo traveling. And then a third, all right, you're new to solo travel. We got to get you on a solo trip. It's fun. I've done it before. I loved it. And let's see, almost half of you have traveled solo on a Star trip before, which is great. Only 2 of you said you might bring a friend next time, but over half of you can't wait to travel with us solo. So that's good. It sounds like some of you have traveled solo and loved it, and some of you are looking forward to traveling solo. So interesting to sort of start out understanding those results, which is great. So I'm going to get started on our presentation because there's no time like the present. And I am going to share my screen with you. And as I said here before, we're here to talk about solo travelers and Girlfriends Getaway. I'm hoping you can see my screen. So I want to welcome and talk about traveling solo for a few minutes. One of the best parts of traveling on a Star trip is all the fantastic friends that you'll meet on your journey. And even better, these friends often become lifelong friends. And how do I know that? Well, I know it because my tour directors tell me, and they say, oh, these folks have been traveling. They met on a Star trip 10 years ago and they still travel. We get calls in the office. People want to book trips with friends that they've made on Star trips. And Whether it's a solo traveler meeting a couple, or a solo traveler meeting a group of people, or another solo traveler. One of the best parts of traveling with Star is meeting lots of friends. And to help foster this camaraderie, we are excited to provide great opportunities and programs where you can meet fellow travelers even before you set out on your adventure. And that's the Star Solo Traveler community that I want to talk about. So before I start to talk about myth busting, I want to share with you the Star website. So I'm going to share my screen. We have a special web page that's geared to Star's solo travelers. So if you come up to the tours, the top navigation bar, and you select tours, okay, right here is called Solo Traveler Programs and Trips. And if you click there, you come right to this page that talks all about traveling solo. Okay. For example, well, pre-COVID, we tried to have a meet and mingle with our solo travelers. So that we postponed that indefinitely, but you can see we list our tours that are perfect for our solo travelers here. And then we have a link right to the Facebook group. We have a Facebook group, which I'll talk about soon, just for solo travelers. And you can stay in touch with us for all the latest travel updates regarding solo traveler by submitting your email address right here. Okay. And this is a great way just to sort of keep up with what's happening in the solo traveling community of Star. So I wanted to point that out to you, and I'm going to go back to the presentation because I want to spend some time to talk about myth busting. We are going to talk about the myth of having solo travelers pay more money, right? And it comes down to the room situation, right? To share or not to share. And you may like sharing, you may not like sharing, or you may change your mind based on the nature of a trip. Hey, for one night, I can share a room, but for 7 nights, maybe not so much. But why does it cost more to travel as a single, right? I want to explain this to you. The real answer is it doesn't cost any more. Okay, it's all about the hotel. So take the example of a brother and sister who are traveling and want their own rooms. They would each pay the single rate. If they decided to share a room, they would each pay the double rate. Okay, the same thing applies to anyone who wants a single room. While there are added benefits, like no fighting over what TV station to watch or how late to keep the lights on, that extra luxury of having your own room comes with a cost. Okay. So in terms of the tour, the hotel room situation is the only factor that increases or decreases the cost. Okay. And we understand that the cost can be high for some people, which is another reason we're so excited to build this solo traveler community with our Facebook group and our web page, etc. So you can decide if you want to share a room or not. And we give you tools so that you can find a roommate. So I wanted to lay this out for you. So here is how we figure out the cost of a tour with a single or a double room. And you can see that when there's one person in a room, we look at this column. When there's 2 people in a room, we look at this column. So the bus transportation remains the same cost. The cost of each attraction and each meal is the same. And the only difference is the hotel. So for example, in this trip, the hotel room is $325. So when there's one person in that room, they have to pay that whole amount. And when there's 2 people in the room, those 2 people can split the cost of the hotel. Okay. So at the end of the day, the cost is different when there's one person in the room and when there's 2 people in the room. Some tour companies call it a single supplement. I don't like that terminology. It sounds like I'm charging you more for being a single or a penalty. That's not the case. The case is that the only difference in the cost of the tour is the hotel. So I want to really let that sink in. Okay. So it's your decision if you want to share a room or not. Now, before we move on, does anybody have any questions about this whole room share situation? All right, we can come back to you if you have a question, but hopefully I explained it so well that you don't have any questions. And I see, there we go. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And I want to talk about this, the Star Solo Travelers Facebook group. So we created this Facebook group with our solo travelers in mind, so we can communicate with you, but more importantly, so you can communicate with each other. You can find out who's going on what trips, find if anybody's looking for a roommate, ask for feedback on different trips, and there's lots of great reasons to do this. So I'm going to even share with you what this Facebook group looks like. Let's see here. So you can see this is what the Star Solo Travelers Facebook group looks like. And if you are on Facebook, you can search for the group literally by typing in this exact name, Stars Solo Travelers. Okay. And we have 811 members of this group, which is amazing. All right. And it talks about what this group is for. And you can see that people, this woman, Susan, she said she's going solo to Gloucester and Salem. She wanted to know if anyone is going. There's people that have asked for trip feedback or trip information, people looking for roommates. This woman wanted to know if Assateague Island was a good solo trip. So lots of great questions and information being passed back and forth on that page. So I welcome you to join us for, on that page. If you're not on Facebook, that's a bummer, I'm sorry. So hopefully maybe we give you a reason to join Facebook, who knows? All right. Let's see. Let me go here. All right. So, and I talked about on our webpage, you can add your email to our email list, and we'll give you special emails with new information, new things that we want to share with you. We want to stay in touch with you. So before I move on to talk about our special solo traveler trip to Delaware, I want to say a couple things. This program that we put together was our first solo traveler trip. So those folks from Delaware, you should feel honored that this is the first time that we offered a solo traveler trip. And one of the reasons why we started with Delaware was A, because we thought it was a great destination, and B, because it's a one-night stay. And when you have a one-night stay on a solo traveler's trip, remember, this ties back to what I was saying, you're not going to have a big difference in price between a single and a double trip cost, because there's only one hotel night, right? So the trips that have multiple hotel nights will run up a big difference, because you have maybe 5 nights of $150 difference. It adds up. It could be $800 or things like that. But since there's only one hotel night in this trip, there's not a big difference. So the cost for a single traveler is not that high. So our goal is to try to keep the solo traveler trips to 1 or 2 nights if we can, to keep the cost down for you, our solo travelers. You're more than welcome to find a roommate, absolutely. But for these trips, I'm going to sort of go under the assumption that most of you are going to stay by yourself, and I'm going to keep the cost of that trip down as best as I can. So that's sort of the rhyme and reason behind what we sort of what we have decided to do. So I'm going to whet your appetite a little bit, even before I introduce our special guests. And I'm going to do that by playing a little video. So Let's see, we can do that. And we'll start with this and see how we do.
There is a new day on the horizon in Delaware, filled with opportunity, renewal, innovation, moments to refresh the body and soul. As you explore new places to live, work, or visit, it's yours to discover in Delaware. Begin your journey at discoverdelaware.com.
All right, well, hopefully that whet your appetite a little bit. It certainly did for me. And I am going to introduce a special, whoops, sorry, hold on. Let's see if we can't. There we go. I'm going to, let's see. Hello?
Hi.
Ah, I lost you. Hold on. There we go. I see you now. I'm going to introduce Tina Mandanet. The Delaware Tourism Office is the official state agency that promotes Delaware as a premier destination for leisure, groups, and sporting events. During her 12-year tenure, Tina has served in a sales, marketing, and public relations capacity. Tina takes pleasure in providing personalized service to travel planners like us to enhance their visits and plan exciting group adventures. Tina also, in her free time, enjoys dancing and spending time with family and friends. So I'd like to introduce, with a beautiful background of pink flowers, Tina.
Thank you, Sandy. And also on behalf of all of the Delaware representatives, we are delighted to be here this evening, and we're really excited about the Star Delaware Solo Tour. So thank you. So Delaware is truly the hidden gem of the Mid-Atlantic region. We have easy access, we have tax-free shopping, dining, and entertainment, and wonderful diverse attractions. Delaware is also the first state, so we're rich in history, and we have 4 historic districts, some of which date back to the 1600s. We also have 3 regions in Delaware: the northern region, the central region, and the southern region. The northern region, which is the focus of the first Star Solo Tour, is known for some of the finest mansions and gardens on the East Coast, such as Winterthur, Nemours, and Hagley, the DuPont legacy sites. There are also some other notable gardens in the area: the Tilton Mansion and Gardens, the Reed House and Gardens, the Mount Cuba Center, and the newest garden in Delaware is actually located in the southern region. We now have the Delaware Botanic Gardens. The central region is the location of our capital city of Dover, and also a site, one of the sites on our national monument sites. We also have unique museums there, and I heard someone mention the NASCAR race. Please come to the Dover International Speedway, the fastest oval in the world.
You guys are ganging up on me for NASCAR. I see what's happening here.
Some examples of one-of-a-kind museums that we have are the Johnson Victrola Museum, which features and highlights the history of the recording industry. The Air Mobility Command Museum, which boasts over 30 warplanes, and Air Force Two is retired there. The southern region, we have 25 miles of pristine coastline, maritime adventures, water cruises. There's also the Tanger outlet centers for the shoppers out there. Rehoboth Beach is the most popular beach. It's known as our nation's summer capital because of the number of Washingtonians that vacation there, including the president and first lady. Some other attractions, popular draws to Delaware are the arts, the performing arts, scenic state parks, gaming, Delaware's Underground Railroad. Let's see. Oh, our trails of discovery. We have a Delaware on Tap trail that's very popular that highlights our wineries, distilleries, breweries, cideries, and meaderies. We have a history trail, and the newest trail is the Delaware Discoveries Trail, where people can have Instagram-worthy moments and get their picture taken in front of artwork that was created by local and national artists, and they're located at select attractions across our state. So in closing, we hope that you will begin your journey and exploration of Delaware with the STAR Brandywine Valley Tour, and we hope that you will visit Delaware often and enjoy all the Delaware endless discoveries. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. That was excellent. I really appreciate it. Delaware is terrific and it's so close by. So at this point, I would like to introduce Jane Peters Estes, our tour director extraordinaire. And Jane is going to take us through the itinerary for this trip because Jane is the tour director. And why is Jane the tour director? Because I think Jane is a Delaware expert. And she's a terrific tour director. And besides having lived in Delaware for many years, I know she's done a lot of traveling on her own as well. So she's a perfect person to sort of take us through this trip. So just for an overview, our first departure is coming up in about 3.5 weeks. We still do have some room on it if anybody would like to join. And then we have another departure in the fall. Again, it's a 2-day, 1-night trip. There are 4 meals included, and the cost for a single traveler is $499. Somebody with a roommate would be $419, and there's a price for 3 in a room, which is $399. So highly recommend this trip. You see the difference between a double and a single is only $80. So you can figure out the price of the room approximately from there. So I'm just letting you know my secrets. So Jane, take it away.
Thank you, Sandy. It really is my pleasure to be escorting this tour. I did escort the first one last year. And when I lived in Delaware, I was a docent at Hagley Museum. So I really have Hagley in my heart, although all of the homes there are absolutely wonderful. I'd like to assure you, if you are traveling with us for the first time, you're going to have somebody with you. I'm not going to be your guide at these places. You've got local guides that are going to be doing the tour. Some of them are self-guided, but I'm going to be there, and you're never going to feel like you're alone. If you are sick or hurt or lost, you've got somebody there you can call, and that's going to be me. So if it's your first time traveling solo, please don't let that be a concern. Now, our schedule for the tour, we're going to pick everyone up at your location, wherever you're joining the tour, and then we're going to travel by motor coach down to Wilmington. And our first stop is going to be at Nemours Mansions and Gardens. And this is an absolutely breathtaking estate. We were not able to include it for last year, unfortunately, because of what was happening with the pandemic, but they are open this year, so we were able to put them back on. Then we're going to head over to Hagley Museum, and our first stop is going to be at the schoolhouse for our lunch, because lunch is included, and it's a lovely indoor down and have an enjoyable lunch. When we finish there, we're going to have a guided tour. It's called the Brandywine Tour of Hagley. And Hagley is where the DuPont family first started when they came to America from France. And you're going to learn all about them, how they made their fortune and what they produced there. We'll leave Hagley and we're going to head up to the DoubleTree Hotel in Wilmington. And that's where we'll be staying the night. We're going to let you check in, catch your breath, maybe just wash up a little bit or whatever. Then we're going to take you out to dinner to Harry's Savoy Ballroom. This is a very, very nice local restaurant. You're going to sit down and be waited on. Last year, the waiters we had actually wore little tuxedos and everything. It was quite an elegant evening. You can have a cocktail, not on your own, of course, but you can really enjoy your evening, get to know your fellow travelers. Day 2, we'll check out of our hotel after having had breakfast there. And then we're going to head up to Winterthur, which is an American country estate. Once again, an absolutely beautiful property that you're going to learn about. And our tour there does include the gardens, and it's a tram tour. We will have a box lunch there, and that's included with the tour as well. And then we're going to take you safely home. A couple of heads up that I'd like to share with you. Please, I know we all want to look fashionable, but this is a trip where comfortable walking shoes are important, especially the July trip. It's going to be a little warm. I recommend that you have a hat, some sunscreen or whatever. We're going to be inside the mansions, but we're also going to be walking in through some of the gardens and all. So I want you to be comfortable. And of course, always bring the little rain poncho just in case nature decides to give us a little surprise or something. But it's a great little getaway. It's not like the Baton Death March. We've got it spaced out very nicely so it's comfortable for you, but you're going to get to see a lot of the northern part of Delaware. So I hope you're going to join us. I'll look forward to it and hope to see you on the bus.
Thank you, Jane. That was excellent. And if anybody has any questions, you can throw them in the chat, or we'll open this up for questions a little bit later. To talk to us about Hagley, let's see. Yeah, to talk to us, to tell us a little bit more about Hagley is Bonnie Worth. Let's see, Bonnie, are you here?
Right here.
All right. So Bonnie has been working in the group tour industry for more than 25 years. That's longer than I have. Bonnie worked in sales and marketing for a group tour company for several years. That's kind of like what we do here, before she joined Hagley 16 years ago. And at Hagley, Bonnie handles every aspect of your visit, except for the guiding the tour. She leaves that to the expert. So she helps us plan everything from that we've put together for you. So Bonnie, tell us a little bit about Hagley and what we can expect.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's very nice to be with you this evening. Star Tours has set up a wonderful visit for you to Hagley, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what you're going to see. So Hagley is the site where the DuPont company started in 1802, and they produced gunpowder there until the 1920s. And Hagley is located on 235 acres along the Brandywine River in Wilmington, Delaware. And when you arrive at our site, it's so beautiful that it's going to be hard for you to imagine that it was once a gunpowder factory. But our guides are going to work their magic, and they're going to take you back to an earlier time, and they are going to tell you the story about E.I. DuPont and how he chose this location to start his powder works. So some of the things you'll get to see, you'll be able to see water-powered machinery in action, and you're even going to be able to witness a small gunpowder blast when you see the Eprovette demonstration. So the Eprovette was an apparatus that the gunpowder salesman would have used to show the superior quality of the DuPont powder. So they would have taken them out when they went out to sell the powder, and they would have shown, they would have provided a blast with another company's powder and then with the DuPont powder to show how superior it was. So that's always fun. Everyone loves a blast. Then you're going to get a chance, you will have a blast at Hagley. So you'll also get a chance to walk through the E.I. DuPont garden. This is a restored French garden, which sits right by the DuPont family home, which is pictured in the picture there, if you see that. And you're going to learn how the founder of the company, E.I. DuPont, called himself a botanist. And you'll also learn how he passed this love of gardening on to, and it's been passed on down through all the generations of the DuPonts. You're going to be able to walk through Eleutherian Mills, which is the DuPont family home. And you're going to visit the first office of the DuPont company. And you'll be able to check out the barn and see the antique vehicles that we have there. After the tour, you're going to have a chance to stop in the Hagley Museum store, which has a lovely selection for you. And you can even check it out. We now have an online store that you can check out before your visit, and you can find that on hagley.org. And then after shopping, there's lunch scheduled in the Soda House, which is a historic building, and it gets its name from sodium nitrate, which was an ingredient in bee blasting powder, and it was once stored in the building. Now this building houses archives and is also used for weddings and different events. And you might remember in the beginning, I told you we're located on 235 acres. Do not worry, we don't expect you to walk all of those acres. When you arrive at Hagley, you'll you'll get off of your Star Tour bus and you'll get onto Hagley buses to be transported through our property with our tour guide. So your group will be divided up into smaller groups, each with a tour guide, and you're going to have a great time. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing you at Hagley soon.
Thank you, Bonnie. That was excellent.
You're welcome.
It looks absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
It is.
It is.
Right. I have
We
lots
all
of
agree,
people
it
that
is.
agree on that. Taking us through Nemours is Jessica Bittman. Jessica is, she represents Wilmington, Delaware. Wilmington and the Brandywine Valley, they're like a riveting romantic tale of two cultures, 2 centuries, a destination marked by sharp contrasts, town and gardens, past and present, commerce and culture, beauty and brains, gritty and gorgeous, historic and hip. It is these contrasts that make each experience more vibrant, each moment more distinct, and each site more authentic and beautiful. So Jessica, take us through Nemours.
Thank you for having me, Sandy. And everyone, thank you for joining us. I have to say, Nemours is one of several estates in our area. And as you may have already figured out, the Brandywine Valley is very well known for our estates and gardens, many of which stemmed off from the DuPont family. So where it was very appropriate that Bonnie kicked it off, because where the Hagley family or the Hagley estate was where everything started, the grandchildren, they built these huge palaces, these amazing estates and gardens that you can tour, and 2 of them are on your itinerary. So Nemours is the home of A.I. DuPont, Alfred I. DuPont, who built this as a gift for his wife. Now, he built this mansion. It's a nice gift that I would have also liked to have had for my own husband, I'll say. But with this, it was a French chateau style mansion, 42,000 square feet. And when it eventually became, available for public viewing, they left it designed how they lived. So you could actually walk through the gardens, you can see, or you could walk through the house and you can see how it was designed. In July, you'll see it designed for summer. And then when you come back in the fall, you'll actually get some of the fall tapestries and you'll get the fall decor as well. So it changes through the seasons. You'll be able to go on a self-paced tour through the house. You can go through and they'll have docents in different areas that will tell you a little bit about the family or about the paintings, tell you some fun stories. And then you can also go take a walk over to the chauffeur's garage and see their collection of vintage automobiles, or you can wander through the gardens. You can see the amazing, that was their swimming pool, which you can see in the photo. I mean, how stunning is that? The beautiful palatial gardens, and you can just go walking through the trails. It's just a really nice way to kick off your time in Wilmington. And I hope you really enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Jessica. It's again quite a special estate for for this family. I mean, it's unbelievable what the money that's in Wilmington. And let's just get the pronunciation right. Nemours, right?
Nemours.
Nemours. Right.
Yes, Nemours.
Nemours.
And I also comment, I saw a question asking about ADA options, and there is an elevator at the mansion that you can use to go around.
Oh, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Now to take us through Winterthur is Hillary. Hillary, I am going to let you introduce yourself.
Well, I am born and raised in Delaware, and I've worked at Winterthur for a number of years. It's a place that's very near and dear to my heart. Winterthur is actually a Swiss name. Nemours is French, but Winterthur is Swiss. The man who founded it, Henry Francis DuPont, was a descendant of E.I. DuPont, who started Hagley. And we're really located just a stone's throw away. Henry Francis was very passionate about a couple of things. One of them was antiques made or used in America between about 1640 and 1860. And he collected so many things, he expanded the house he grew up in to be 9 floors with 175 rooms. And they have furniture, glass, brass, rugs, eyeglasses, books, all kinds of things that were that are American antiques. And when you tour, you'll be able to see a selection of the rooms, and they will be the rooms in which Henry and his wife Ruth would have entertained their guests and their family. They were very well known among their friends for having weekend guests. The parties were wonderful. You could swim in the swimming pool, which is now a reflecting pool. You could do a round of golf, or you could just stroll through the garden and the estate. And at the time it was a working farm, although it no longer is. We do still have an estate of about 1,000 acres. So you can enter and do a self-guided tour of some of these beautiful rooms, including the DuPont dining room, which is a good way to explain how and why he collected. Over the fireplace is a portrait of Gilbert Stuart, by Gilbert Stuart of George Washington. And as you know, or maybe not, Gilbert Stuart painted the portrait of George Washington that's on the dollar bill. So he's very skilled at that. Just opposite in the same room are 6 silver tankards made by Paul Revere. They were made for a church in Massachusetts, and they are the only known set of 6 that Paul Revere made. You can tour the rooms. It's a self-guided tour with guides available in the rooms to answer any questions you may have about what you're looking at. We also have an app that you can download on your phone, which you can use as you go through the house. And if you want an even better sneak preview, there's a virtual tour of many of the rooms and gardens on our website. When you're out, one of his other passions was gardening. He worked to create a garden that had color almost throughout the year. One of his lifelong friends was a woman named Marion Kaufman, who was one of the first female landscape architects in the country. And she designed a number of areas, including the reflecting pool area, that you will be able to see. And the wonderful way to see the Winter Tour Garden is on the guided tram tour. It's about a 20 to 30-minute tour of the estate, and it gives you history about Henry Francis DuPont, the DuPont family, the evolution of the estate, and a really good overview of everything that Winter Tour has to offer. You can stroll the garden also if you'd like. It's really nice any time of year, but in summer it's very lovely because there are so many old trees. There's shade almost everywhere. So it's a very cooling and refreshing walk. We look forward to welcoming you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Hillary Holland. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here with us. So it was great to hear about this trip. 3 wonderful attractions, a DoubleTree Hotel, which is terrific, a scrumptious dinner at Harry's Savoy Ballroom, and tour director Jane Estes to round it all out to make it perfect. So I hope that you join us. I have some questions that I'm going to go over from the chat, some that you can see and some that you can't. So I'm going to say them out loud. There's a question, is there only one pickup and drop off location for these solo trips? And the answer is no. We pick up at all of our departure locations in most cases for these trips. So the best place to find that out is online. And when you search for these tours online, it will, in the departure date and price screen, it shows the pickup and drop off locations for each trip. So the day trips have usually 2 to 3 pickup locations, and the multi-day trips have up to 8 or 9 pickup locations. And then we shuttle you into the main bus. So Deborah, I might need you for this one. At Harry's Savoy Grill, do we order from the menu or we have a planned meal? Well, we do have a planned meal. The question is, do we have a meal selection in advance? So Jane might remember this from last year.
Yes, we did have, they had to make selections in advance, but there were several selections to choose from.
Excellent. Excellent. So when you make your reservation, we will ask for your selection if we know what the selections are. If not, we'll let you know before the trip departs.
They're already available, Sandy.
They're already available. Okay, great, great. Great, great, great. So another question, how many seats do we think that are available for the July 22nd, 23rd trip? Well, we do have probably a dozen seats left. What we don't have right now is any hotel rooms because the hotel asked us to, for the rooms back to put in their inventory. It doesn't mean that we can't get those hotel rooms back, but we won't book you unless we get a credit card from you. So if you call to book, we'll take your credit card so that if the hotel does have room, we will book that right away and get you set up. If the hotel doesn't have any room, we won't process your credit card and we'll move you to the wait list. But either way, we will let you know what's happening. And a question, does the Delaware trip to the mansions require visitors to wear masks? So just that has a couple aspects to that answer. When you're on the Star bus, you will be wearing your mask. We have not set a date that we're not wearing masks, but at least the federal government has decided that we'll be wearing masks through the middle of September while we're on the bus. And then each destination has their own masking requirement, and that is changing daily as we're finding out. So I'm not even gonna ask these guys because what happens today could be different tomorrow, could be different in July. So right, I'm getting a thumbs up because we don't really quote, we get to places and they change, it might change requirements based on the day. So pack your mask for sure. And then a question, do we ever cancel a departure location if there are not enough people planning to be there? And the answer is yes. If we only have 1 or 2, sometimes 3 people from a departure location, we may cancel it. It depends on the routing of the trip. So for example, if we're going south to Delaware and we only have 2 people that are north in Woodbridge, we may not pick up in Woodbridge. We may call you and say, hey, we eliminated that departure point. We need you to come to a different departure point. And that does happen. That does absolutely happen. So I know you'll probably have more questions and we can get to those at the end, but I want to introduce another very important person to everyone. And she is Mary Lewis. Mary Lewis has an awesome job title. She is the Chief of Experiences at her own Heart of Virginia Tours company. And we partner with Mary because Mary is an expert in Virginia. And we let her plan some of our trips. And it works as a win-win for both of us. And the bonus that you get when we plan trips with Mary is Mary gets to be what we call a step-on guide, the guide that steps on the bus when we get to Virginia. So Mary, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd she go? If she, I can't see her. If you might be on mute, Mary, because I can't hear you. There, I see her.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you all for joining us tonight. A little bit about me real quick. I have been in the tourism industry here in Virginia for 38 years. I actually started at Colonial Williamsburg, and that's where I got a lot of my experience putting together destination product. So my company, Heart of Virginia Tours, launched 8 years ago. And as Sandy mentioned, I have had a couple of tours with Star over the years, and I look forward to hopefully having you all join me on this wonderful Girlfriends Getaway food tour.
Excellent. And Mary is right. This is a food tour. It's called Food for Thought. Our destination is Richmond, Virginia. We have a departure date in October that is actually sold out, if you can believe it. And we just added a second departure date for those of you that may want to join us. And this could be for solo travelers. This could be for girlfriends that want to get away. Hey, we've had men on girlfriends trips. So that absolutely is a thing. And you just, you never know what you're going to get. So I'm going to share with you a video to sort of whet your appetite, pun intended, before Mary takes it away again.
Let me tell you an age-old story about how my heart gotta sing the blues. Well, I told you all before, but I need to remind you, love is nothing more but a chore. So don't play with my heart no more. Don't play with my heart no more. When I'm back with a dress, I'm free from the rest. All your words are just fantasy. And you don't know the reins of these shackling chains that used to have a button on me. So don't play with my heart no more. Don't play with my heart no more. When love is here and I know it's got so bad, what you looking for? I said, whoa, don't play no more. I said, whoa, don't play no more. I said, whoa, don't play no more. Don't play.
That was not very nice of me to play for those people that have not had dinner yet.
We're all hungry now.
Just so that you know, yeah, it was, I did it to myself too. So, so let's see, I'm just looking for my, okay, there we go. I'm going to share my screen again and I'm going to let Mary take it away.
Hey, thanks again, Sandy. Richmond is renowned for its food and its art. It is a real, true art destination. It always has been, but we've really started evolving as a food or foodie destination. So we're hoping that you'll grab your girlfriends and come on down on this tour. The first day, we're going to travel into Richmond, and we're going to start this tour off right with some chocolate and wine. So we're going to be actually going into what Richmond Scotch edition district. It's the Spirit District. It's where our distilleries, breweries, and wineries are located. And we're going to be going to the Richmond Wine Station to do some wine tasting with chocolate. Then we'll spend the evening at the Hampton Inn Glenside. So we'll be stopping off there to freshen up before we go to dinner in Richmond's Art District at Max's on Broad. Max's on Broad, actually, very upscale cocktails and dining establishment. So looking forward to hosting you all on this tour. Then day 2, we're going to get up and we're going to head for the farm. We're actually going to Lavender Fields farm. It's a 100-year-old cow farm, but they switched it over to lavender about 15 years ago. And now it's the largest distributor of herbs on the East Coast. So if you're buying herbs in the grocery store, you're probably buying them from Lavender Fields. While we're there, we're going to do a tour of one of the greenhouses, and we're going to talk to the head greens person, and then we're going to do a little tasting of some homemade lavender lemonade. Then we're going to head on into Richmond to Richmond's Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. It is our state art museum, and it's in the top 10 in the nation. It also it was established off of the largest collection of Fabergé pieces, art pieces, Fabergé eggs and jewelry from Russia. So we'll have time to view that beautiful exhibit, as well as the other 12 exhibits that they have available, exhibit areas that they have available at the Art Museum, before we head to Carytown, where we are going to have lunch on our own and just some free time to shop. Carytown, Southern Living named it the Mile of Style, because it literally is a mile from one end to the other. Now, we're not going to walk all that full mile, but it just tells you the scope of the quality restaurants and shops that are there. Right after lunch, we're going to join Brian with Richmond Food Tours, and we're going to actually do a food tasting from restaurant to restaurant in Carytown. You're going to get a chance to meet the chef owners of these restaurants and learn a little bit about the various different recipes and do some wonderful, yummy tastings. Then we'll return back to the hotel just to freshen up before we head out to dinner at Barceletta. Barceletta just opened up right before the pandemic. And it's one of our newest upscale Italian restaurants. And it's located in the Art District of Richmond. So we'll be dining there on Italian food. Then we'll see a live performance. We'll go over to the November Theater to see a live performance. It's going to be a cabaret performance. So they've told me they're going to surprise me. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the big surprise is. So they're actually opening the theater just for our group. So for this special performance.
Great.
Third day, we're actually going to get up and we're going to have a leisurely breakfast in the hotel. And then we're going to head for Gary Melcher's home and studio. Gary Melcher was an American artist. He's well known for his portraits of the presidents. They reside in the Capitol today. Gary purchased Belmont for his wife, Carice. Their marriage was a real romantic love story. And he purchased this house and renovated it for her at the turn of the century. And he actually set up his studio there. So you're going to get a chance to tour the house itself, learn a little bit about Carice and Gary, and then you're going to tour the studio, the actual studio where he painted. Then we are going over to have lunch, and I'm so excited about this. We're going to be doing a German tasting at Alpine Chef. They're going to be bringing out all kinds of different samplings of German food. It's a 5-course meal with dessert, with German desserts samplings as well. So this tour is just packed full of all kinds of wonderful tastes and smells and a little bit of history, but a lot of fun. So I hope you'll come join us in November.
Sounds awesome. So I should not plan my diet to start right before this trip.
No. Not at all.
Mary, can you tell us about the different food tours? You had mentioned the food tour to Carytown.
Yes. I'm sorry, Sandy. Yes.
In November, we're doing a food tour to Church Hill, right?
Right. And I'm sorry, I missed that. Yes, we will be doing a food tour to Church Hill. Church Hill is the historic district. In fact, it's the original portion of the town, dates to the late 1600s. And so a lot of the houses that you will see are 17th, 18th century, or excuse me, 18th, 19th century homes. But in Church Hill, they actually have eateries and bakeries, and you're going to go taste savory pies at Proper Pie, my favorite place, let me tell you. So you'll have a chance to go from restaurant to restaurant in a historic district of Richmond on this special tour in November. So each tour has a different area of the city where we're going to be doing our tastings in our food ways.
It sounds awesome. I love that both are different. Hey, people can come with us on both trips and have
That's
a different
right.
experience. So this is great. Thank you so much, Mary. The trip sounds wonderful. And we will see Mary in person on this trip in November. And I believe, Christine, are you the tour director for the November trip? I'm putting her on the spot and she might be on mute, but I can't remember. I think we have a tour director for both trips, and I think Christine might be the tour director for the second one.
Yes, I am.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So if you go in November, you go with Christine, and I can't remember who's the tour director for the first one. It's not you, is it, Jane?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read some questions. I think we got to, if anybody has any specific questions about our Virginia tour for Girlfriend's Getaway or our Delaware trip for our solo travelers, please feel free to physically raise your hand. You can raise your hand in Zoom. You can write in the chat, and interrupt me. I'm going to answer some of the questions that people sent through private message. A question, as you know, about COVID, you know, as you know, these regulations are sort of changing daily. I'll give you we have not changed our situation here at STAR. And what our situation at STAR is, I believe, at least through the middle of September, is that we'll be wearing masks while on the bus. Okay, so masks over our nose and our mouth, between sips and bites, through the middle of September, and that is a federal mandate that we follow. Okay, we are not currently seating travelers in the first 4 seats of the bus. So the first row of the bus is currently empty, other than the tour director. Okay, that could change in the future, but that's what's happening right now. And then solo travelers are not being seated next to anybody that they do not know. So right now, if you are a solo traveler and you book a trip, you will not have anybody seated in the seat next to you if you do not know them. So I don't know that when that is going to change. It may change this fall, it may change this winter. However, if you do a trip with us, if you book a trip, we will let you know if we change the format, so that if you decide that that doesn't work for you and you have tour protection, you can cancel. So that's what's happening now. As far as the venues, meaning the attractions, the restaurants, the shows, the hotels, every stop that we make seems to have a different policy regarding masks. So we just kind of go with the flow. That's just what we do. And it's been working. We have been traveling since last August without incident. I'm going to knock on wood, just so that you all know. We've had no incidents. We've had only wonderful trips. And that's because we take extreme care for your safety, for our driver's safety, and for our tour director's safety, as well as for our tourism partners. When we get to where we're going, we always abide by the rules that they set out for us. So that should be able to give you a COVID overview. Again, solo travelers are sitting alone on the bus right now, so they will get 2 seats to themselves unless we change that. But I don't expect that to change before mid-September. It may change by the time this trip goes in October. And Jane's reminding me that Karen Coate is the tour director for the first October Girlfriends Getaway. And Karen's terrific too. So you guys will all love it. Let's see, I have a question from somebody who made a reservation for the Frank Lloyd Wright, the Houses of Frank Lloyd Wright trip, asking if there's other solo travelers on that trip. So that's a question I can't answer right now. However, it's a perfect question for our Facebook group forum. So Christina, who if you want to join our Facebook group, you can ask that question, or if you call our office, one of the folks who answers the phone can let you know if we have any other solo travelers on that trip. I can tell you the answer is going to be yes. There's always solo travelers on every trip. Some trips there's more, some trips there's less, but you know, that you can expect that there's definitely going to be some solo travelers on every trip. Laverne has asked if there are any spa trips. Deb, do we have any specific? We have trips where you can make reservations for a spa, like Greenbrier.
Greenbrier is the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, Greenbrier is the one that comes to mind. That's a holiday trip in December. So we welcome you to join us on that. Any other questions before we move on to our business? This is great. Oh, Christine just told me that a few minutes ago she had her 4th grandchild. Is that right? 4th?
Aww.
Yes. Drew. Oh, I love her name, Drew.
Oh.
Drew Lane was just born a few minutes ago. 8 pounds, 1 ounce. Oh, let them. Congratulations, Chris. Wow.
Thank you. Thank
You have
you.
Quite the posse. I knew she was waiting for that. Boy, she just snuck in before the end of June, didn't she?
Yes, she did. And I go next week, so.
Oh my God. Yeah. Chris has kind of
Hardcore.
been on baby alert duty. So we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. When was her due date? Like last week?
Yes, yes. So,
Yeah, it was not pleasant to be pregnant in this heat for the last few days. I'm
right, absolutely.
So
Thank you.
congratulations. I would like to remind you that our next Tour Tuesday is July 13th, and one of our featured presenters, Penny Rudolph, tour director Penny Rudolph, who's joining us tonight, she will be talking about two fabulous Tennessee trips, the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee and one of my favorites, Memphis and Nashville. So join us in 2 weeks for our next Tour Tuesday on July 13th to hear Penny talk about two tours that she is extremely familiar with and well-versed in, Smoky Mountains and Memphis and Nashville. So Penny, do you want to plug that? You're on mute, but if you want to plug that, that Tour Tuesday, feel free.
Oh, please join us because Tennessee is one of my favorite vacation destinations. From east to west, north to south, Tennessee has so much to offer. Please come along, listen on the 13th of
July,
and you'll learn a lot, and I think you're really going to want to come on one of these tours, if not both.
And with all the irony, Penny will be presenting on her Tennessee trips from Mackinac Island. So when I scheduled Penny to do this, I didn't, of course, look at her tour directing schedule to see that she will be in Mackinac Island. So Wi-Fi willing, God willing, the Wi-Fi will work. She will be presenting from Mackinac Island, Michigan, which will be amazing. So so join us for that. And I am ready to pick to present my $25 gift card winner for this event. So my gift card winner is, hold on, Christina Miller. Christina Miller, you are my gift card winner. Are you there? Let's see if I can find, she's waving. So congratulations, Christina. She's giving us 2 thumbs up. Looks like
you. Thank you.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch with you, Christina.
Great. Thank you.
So maybe you'll choose to go on a solo traveler's trip, maybe girlfriend's getaway, maybe one of the Tennessee trips coming up. There's lots to choose from. So it's after 7 and I'm going to say good night to all of you. Thank you very much to our special presenters from Delaware and from Virginia. We appreciate you being here very much. Bonnie and Hillary, Jessica, Tina, and Mary, thank you so much for joining us. Jane and Deb and Jean and Chris and Anne and Penny. I'm sure I'm forgetting more of you, but our tour directors that are here, we're so thrilled to have you participate. And of course, our special tour guests. We are thrilled to see you on this forum. We invite you to call us and visit us online and on Facebook and whatever works best for you. We're here to help plan your next perfect trip. So thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
you.
Thank you
Bye,
very much.
everybody.
Very interesting.
See you tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Thank you, Sandy.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye
everyone.
So
now.
much.
Bye-bye.
So good to see you.